Hi, everybody, and welcome to Ninja Selling Lesson 2, where we are going to be going over in depth, um, really staying in flow with our clients and how to do that, why we need to do that, and all that kind of good stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with everybody. Getting in flow. This is the why, the how, and the how often. This is something that I think is so interesting, and Larry Kendall in the book really talks a lot about this, your R.A.S, your Reticular Activating System. You can see this little kind of diagram here, and R.A.S is your brain's filtering, focusing device. You have the things that you want, you value, and you love, and then you have the things that you don't want, fear, or threat. That's kind of like the precipice of what it is. And I think that a really good way to, give you an idea of what it is and how it affects us every day is I like to give the example of a car. You've decided today that you're going to buy a black BMW. And for the next 2 weeks, all you see are black BMWs. Everywhere you go, black BMWs. You never noticed them before, and now you're seeing them all the time. And even after you buy it, you'll still notice the black BMWs. Now, is there an influx of black BMWs? Of course not. It's because it's what's in your R.A.S. It's what your brain is paying attention to. And that is kind of what we want to do with our clients. We want to get them into our reticular activating system so they're on our minds and vice versa. So I'm going to go ahead and share again. This is just, a little bit more of an explanation of what the R.A.S, the Reticular Activating System, is. And this is a really good quote. "The quality of my life is not so much determined by what happens to me as much as it is by how I respond to what happens." Really important there. We all kind of go through things in life, and, we all face difficult things, difficult times, challenges. And it's not so much what we all go through. Really, if you think about it, it's how we react to the things that we're going through. If you tell yourself you're never going to find clients, guess what? You're never going to find clients. If you tell yourself you're going to double your business this year and you do the tasks that will make it happen, guess what? Your actions determine your results. And that is, that line there, adding in there that you do the tasks that will make it happen is really important. That's what the Ninja 9 is really all about, is doing these 9 habits on a regular basis, and consistency is key. Every day you make choices that will determine the end result of your life. Okay, so now why is flow so important? We also need to stay in flow in the R.A.S of our sphere. Most realtors believe if they do a good job for their clients, they will come back to them for their next transaction. So, it's kind of funny. I think as realtors, we all think that, stop sharing here for a second. We all think that, once we do a good job with a client, you just listed a client's home, the transaction went perfectly. They were so happy. They wrote you a raving review. We tend to think that when 5 or 6 or 7 years comes and they're ready to sell, that they're going to call us because we did such an amazing job for them. It's not the case. The average person, according to Larry, knows 12 realtors, I think it is. It's 12. So you have to make yourself stand out above all those other realtors. And just because you sold their property or you have buyers and you sold them a house, that doesn't mean that you're going to stand out for the next 5 to 7 years. They could develop relationships with other realtors. They have friends who are referring other realtors. So staying in flow and staying in their R.A.S is really, really important. These are facts based on the NAR, the profile of buyers and sellers. And these are really interesting and important facts, I think. When home sellers were asked if they were satisfied with the realtor to the point that they would use them again on their next transaction, as well as refer their realtors to friends, 65% say they would definitely use their realtor again, as well as refer them to friends. 19% said they would probably use the realtor again, as well as refer them to friends. A total of 84% they would definitely or probably use the realtor again, as well as refer them to friends. So keep those numbers in mind, because now we have this chart. How many sellers actually used their realtors? 25%. That is not a good number. And I can guarantee you that the majority of the reason for this is because they weren't staying in flow with their clients. And that 25% probably stayed in flow. That's a 1 in 4 chance. That's not great odds if you're not staying in flow. With home buyers, the results were even more shocking. 73% they would definitely use the realtor again, as well as refer. 15% said they would probably use the realtor again, as well as refer. And 88% said they would definitely or probably use the realtor again, as well as refer them to friends. How many buyers use their realtors? 12.5%. So let's just, talk about this for a second here. Buyers tend to be more challenging to work with just because we tend to have to spend more time with them. It's very few and far between that we have the instance of we have buyers and we go out and we take them to see 1 or 2 houses and they buy it. We tend to work with buyers for a longer period of time than sellers. So to have gone through all of that work and spent all of the time with these clients on the buy side, and then to only have 12.5% use you as the agent again is an alarming rate. And I can guarantee you that's because the majority of agents are not staying in flow with their clients. Really, really important, probably one of the most important pieces here. That puts you at a 1 in 8 chance. So your chances with a buyer reusing you again are even lower than a seller if you're not doing the steps that you need to do to stay in flow with these people, to stay in their R.A.S. Buying and selling are infrequent transactions. The average person is in their house for 7 to 15 years. Realtors treat clients like a one-night stand instead of nurturing the relationship. And a lot of realtors do that, I think we're probably all been guilty of it. We do the deal with them, maybe we ask them for a review, they write us a good review, we check up on them after they're in the home, and then we don't talk to them again. And when we do that, chances are when the time comes for them to sell or buy another home, they're probably not going to use us. Various studies on the home buyer process provide some answers. From the time buyers and sellers first get the inspiration to do something until they have a closing takes an average of 9 to 21 months. During this 9 to 21 month period, they select a realtor in 72 hours. That's a very small window of time. Their choice is quick and arbitrary and primarily based on flow. So let's just take a break here from this and let's talk about that for a second. According to those numbers, you have a very small window, right? You have 72 hours to be chosen, basically. And if you're not in the forefront of your client's mind within those 72 hours, or, maybe not within that exact time period, but the day before, a couple of days before, your chances of being chosen are very, very slim. So if you're in flow with your clients and, you have them on email campaigns, you're doing whatever, you're making your phone calls, you're reaching out to them, you're sending handwritten notes, you have a much higher chance of being one of the people who they're thinking about within that 72-hour time period. That's kind of the point there.